I'm Allison Weisbrot, editor of Campaign US, and we're live from Cannes Lions. Do you feel like sustainability was sufficiently addressed both through the winning work and in the sessions and panels at Cannes this year?
I think so. I've got to say, everyone's talking about sustainability, and I know I work at Scope 3, so of course I would say that, but it does feel like a topic that's the zeitgeist of the industry at the moment, and I think that's for a number of reasons. One, obviously, global warming is something that's affecting us all and a huge topic. But also I think some of the other things in the background, like driving efficiency, is we're having a bit of a down market at the moment. The pressure to get more for less money, well actually that's really tied to sustainability as well. So I think there's lots of different topics that are all feeding off of each other, viewed through a sustainability lens.
We need to move the conversation beyond just digital supply chain. While that is a very, very important thing that I think the industry needs to solve, I think we have to take that same lens and the way that we show up at this event, the impact that is made through the materials that happen in the activations, swag that we bring, and I think that that's really where our company focuses. So it's good to see companies like Reddit, Quative, Cognitive, companies like that that are also looking at how they can reduce things like swag and the things that they are giving out to continue that sustainability mission.
It's been real progress this year. I think climate is being integrated into main stage talks in more ways. We're here at the Next Level Climate Summit with a bunch of great speakers to start thinking about where that talk goes from here. We are starting to address the industry footprint in terms of production, offices. What is the next step? What is the next level we can go to begin to shift culture, shift industry, shift economies of scale to address the climate problem holistically?
What can the festival do better to be more sustainable in the future?
From my conversations with Cannes, they are starting to lay that foundation. I think we all know in the industry, if you're involved in organizations like adland, that what is really the standard of the data that we use to be sustainable, is really the first thing that we need to solve. And so we're seeing Cannes take those approaches so that I think in future festivals, they can really guide partners in the right way to show up in a way that helps fight the climate crisis, which we all need to be doing.
One of the things that we've done at Scope 3 with some of our partners is to measure the carbon associated with flying people over here and then purchasing carbon compensation, really good quality carbon compensation to offset that. I think one of the best things that a festival could do is to just ask people to report, not even spend any money, but just report on carbon, fill in a form, because I think as soon as you start to analyse this and as soon as you start to look into it, it makes you start thinking, do I need to send this many people? Do we need to have that much of a presence? Can we spend more people from Europe maybe? And just the act of jotting it all down and understanding how much carbon's there, I think focuses the mind, so that's a really good first step that they could take.
I would love to see Cannes lead in categories that are focused on sustainability, to say that they're not going to accept submissions from clients and companies that are not aligned with net zero, that aren't aligned with the Paris Climate Agreement. I think that'd be a huge step forward. We would also like to see more conversations from agency leaders that are changing their business to shifting out of working with polluters, they're choosing not to pitch for Shell, that are choosing not to pitch for Exxon or Aramco, and talk about why they're making those decisions so that we can begin to move the ad industry away from polluting clients into a sustainable future.
Do you think festivals like Cannes should be reconsidered from a sustainability standpoint?
Ultimately, there's nothing sustainable about helicopters, there's nothing sustainable about yachts, and actually we have to do a lot of soul searching about, should we be here? And ultimately, I think the conversation is, yes, we should, because there's a lot of interesting conversations that we've been able to have to drive things forward, meet decision makers, and talk about sustainability.
I think there's always a role for in-person meetings. I think it's important to have these cultures. I think we could be a little more discerning about the ways and maybe number of people that are joining them. So I would like to see a revised outlook on how these conversations happening and where they happen, because there's lots of great places to meet around the world. Cannes is beautiful. There are many beautiful parts of the world, and I think there's lots of ways to do this in a fashion that maybe impacts the planet a little less.
I think that's why we do the Givesley Hub, right? We come here in a way where we just make very subtle changes to make less negative impact on the environment, whether that is cutting back on meat products, whether that is not allowing swag, whether that is not allowing printed materials in our space, using digital signage that uses less energy, all the way down even to the fonts that we use in our branding actually donate back to cancer research. So there's ways that you can come here, have the same experience, drive the same ROI, but do it in a little bit more of a thoughtful way.
Even with the yachts?
Yeah, listen, I do not throw stones at the yachts because I have been a CRO in the past that has sat on a yacht. Really enjoyed my time.
I don't understand the appeal of yachts. I've never wanted to be on one to begin with, so it's a little perplexing to me.
Do I think that maybe companies need to start thinking differently, or at least taking the steps to offset that negative impact of having a yacht? Yes, I think that people need to be thinking about that stuff.
But I do love the great people that are here. We're having really excellent conversations, and I'm excited for more.